Welcome to Lower Here, episode 70. We have a guest this week. Again, we have Lee Guinchard. As you all know, that's John Cracked. He's the guy who's making the cracked guitar that we all just saw last week for the reveal. How's it going, Lee?
Good. That's all. Is that all the questions?
It's good.
Then.
Yeah, that's question number one. We're going to do a little AMA with Lee.
Wow.
We had you guys submit all your questions to Mr. Cracked through a forum last week on our live show, and we've collected all those questions. And let me tell you guys, there are a lot of them. We had close to 300 submissions at the time of recording this. By the time that this goes up, I undoubtedly we're going to have 300 questions. So we went through them. We cleared them all out. All the bullshit is gone. We all the same questions are combined, and we have quite a bit to ask Lee. But before we get into that, I don't know, just talk about some other shit like the Guitar Hero mobile advertisement that we all kind of saw.
Friday was a mess.
I was trying to get hold of Charles this weekend just to shoot the shit on some stuff, but I hoped he was going to come on here. But of course, that red octane vest of destiny is in the laundry, so he doesn't go on these things without the vest of destiny.
He can't come on without that. It's impossible.
Well, that means he wears it frequently. Why would it be in the laundry if it wasn't dirty? That means he wore it. What do you do with it?
He's been wearing it since the last podcast. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Oh, it just doesn't come
it's
on.
due. It's due for a wash then.
Yeah. No, I was going to have a chat with him about that stuff, but we haven't looked up yet on that. But yeah, interesting. Yeah. What?
Yeah,
interesting is a word you can
nice
use.
Bit of AI.
Interesting is a word you can use. Let's just start from the beginning. What we got all tweeted by Guap, right? Over on Twitter, X.
So the way that it started, was Sri Lane ended up finding it first. The guy who made Clone Hero.
Oh, that's
Okay.
funny.
I didn't
Actually,
know that.
The guy who made Clone Hero messaged me and said, "Did you see this yet?" To which I was like, "Wait, what?
The fuck is this?"
I was literally going live on my stream when he messaged me and switched over to just chatting and was like, "What's going on?" And the community, we all came into chat and we all just started looking around, trying to figure out what was going on. We found the Geek Lab side of things. Guap ended up throwing out the tweet that I guess you guys saw. And then fire everywhere. Everybody going, "What is happening? AI ad for Guitar Hero Mobile?" Like, very strange that it was false advertising, this game that just doesn't exist, but done for market research. Weird. Very weird.
Yeah, almost. It seems like
research.
it just seems like it's gonna get the wrong type of data that they're looking for. You know what I mean? Like the type of people that would get that ad served to them. Sure, that's like the market that you're looking for. But also the people that would click on that ad that's so clearly fake and not a real game would like see that. And then what happens when you click on the download now button on that Instagram ad? It brings you to a fake App Store looking web page where you would like press the get
looks
button.
1-to-1.
It does.
It's like 1-to-1.
It's like
looks
copying
exactly
the
like
Apple
the
App Store. You press the get button, and then it brings you to a survey. So it's like you're grabbing people that would be easily fooled by AI and fooled with a fake web page. You're getting a bunch of fucking rubes that don't know how to use internet properly. You know what I'm saying?
Non-tech savvy millennials and boomers.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the link or anything like. I mean, I've seen the stuff on X and all the stuff that people have been posting. I mean, it's not uncommon, especially in the mobile market. That's really that whole market, that free app market, where it's like people are spend so much money on funding people into things, and then they've got to monetize it and all this stuff. And of course, Candy Crush is one of those huge things within that organization now. So I think they do tend to have agencies and folks that are always just pulsing around, and if they see a little spike in some interest in something, they'll go out there and do a whole bunch of stuff. I don't necessarily think it was probably anything that was, as you said, they'll get data from it, but what use it is, who knows?
Yeah,
right? I mean,
that's
data's fine, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. It's what you do with the data, and as you said, there may be some valuable data from that, but I can't see what that would mean. Maybe the data point is we had X thousand click on this, so there's real interest for this. That's the data.
Yeah, could be something
You know
as
what I
simple as
mean?
that.
So,
yeah.
It could be simple as that. So I don't know, but I mean, I do. Obviously, I've been inside of these bigger companies and stuff, and there are departments that are always going off and trying to find insights and data and all sorts of things. And I guess that's, if it is them that did it, which it looks like it is, I guess it's something to do with that. But
Everybody thought they were hacked. They were
wouldn't-
like, "Oh my god, like they're hacked," and it's
This
like,
can't be real.
it's
This
like-
can't be real. I'm coping too hard.
Well, they ran it for multiple different franchises. They ran it for Guitar Hero, Call of Duty. They did Crash Bandicoot. Fucking Crash.
I thought that one sucked, man. I was like, dang, really?
I was like,
Crash
you guys already killed him again, and now you're like, you want him back, and it's like, the fuck you mean you want him back?
Well, that's what they did with Guitar Hero. They already killed him twice.
And
that was
they've killed
third time's
him
the
like
charm.
multiple times at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that's linked to any of the creative side of
Not at all.
No,
of,
not
of
at
those
all.
businesses.
AI
If they
swap?
ever were to relook at Guitar Hero properly, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be the thing that kind of
God, I
got
hope
them
not.
there or anything. But who knows? I mean,
The questions they were asking in the survey were rough as is. Like the final question in the survey was, "What's the reason you play games on a mobile device?" And some of the possible answers were things like, "To escape from my day to day," or "For a sense of achievement."
That's
it's
extremely marketing. Like,
So it's very, I mean, basically very generic. Like so again, I'm sure that data's useful to someone, but not someone like me. Probably not to someone like you either, right?
No. I mean, I think the biggest takeaway they're going to get from this is how much the community doesn't want this, does want something different. Now, the question, of course, becomes, will they read between the lines and say, oh, this is what the community wants if we just actually talk to them? Because at the end of the day, why do the AI slop when there's so many people who are still heavily invested and you could just talk to us? We're right here.
Yeah, I mean, I put out a tweet that was like AI is a plague, and I got a whole bunch of different bot replies in my replies, and also if you even type the word AI in a tweet on X Everything app, you're gonna get bombarded with bots all about AI. Side note, but. I put out a tweet that was like, hey, at Guitar Hero, at Activision, at Microsoft, at all these people, I was like, hey, listen, talk to us, talk to me, talk to other Guitar Hero content creators. I think we have valuable insight that you could use to make a game that people want to play. I didn't explicitly say nobody wants this shit. This shit meaning the Guitar Hero mobile AI slop ad, but that's kind of what was the point I was trying to get across. Like, hey, listen, this is not it. We know what could be it, so let us help you. Is what I was trying to say.
You know what part of me wonders too. Part of me wonders if like so Activision obviously like kind of brought on Geek Lab and we're like, oh yeah, like run some stuff for like franchises that we own. And you got to wonder if like the guys who work at that company are like, oh man, it would be cool if there was another Guitar Hero game. And they were like, can we do a Guitar Hero? And they were like, oh yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah,
totally
let me
possible.
just AI generate an entire survey in the next 5 minutes about a Guitar Hero mobile game.
Exactly.
See if people like this.
Yeah, I think it's like anything, especially at those places. There's still within that organization, and at Microsoft, I would imagine there's still people who, are very nostalgic about, Guitar Hero and what it was and what it meant and all this kind of stuff. But
I hope so.
I guess the real reality of this kind of stuff, when they're at their investment levels, and when they do something, they do it big, and it's like, it's there's a lot of thought, research, and modeling that goes into these things, right? So as we kind of saw on the back end of Guitar Hero and GX Live as well, things didn't work out too well. So there's all those considerations. It's like anything, you get. But I'm sure they always look at that. I'm sure on a regular basis they do look on a regular basis at their dormant IPs and stuff like this, and then and I'm sure there's people that kind of kicking around and have a think, and hopefully at some time in the future there'll be someone who has a spark.
I guess
has something to go with, and ultimately it's the game create it's the creators of these games. It's those creative powerhouses and the that make these things, right? It's not something you can just dial in, like do on a spreadsheet. Let's do a Guitar Hero. I mean, that would be the biggest disaster of all time. But these guys, Activision and Microsoft, are smart people, so they wouldn't do that. I don't think so, anyway.
I'd be inclined to agree. I saw a lot of people bring up a good point. Who do they even have anymore that could make something like that in terms of studios? Because they have a lot of studios, obviously, but like any that fit that bill, it's like they kind of don't in a lot of ways,
Well, they didn't have one to fit the bill in the first place. They just had to figure it out.
That's true.
That was GH3.
That's a good
GH3.
point.
They did it before.
They put the Tony Hawk guys in charge of it.
Tony
Just
Hawk.
fuck it. They have the last Call of Duty had like 3,000 plus developers between all their different studios that touched it somehow. They can allocate 50 of those guys over to Guitar Hero. They could make it work. It's just a matter
probably
of
be like, you want to work
will they
on
be the
Guitar
right
Hero?
guys? Will they do it? Will they do it faithfully?
Again, I don't know. I think it's more complex, I guess. Because it's like anything, as you see. As you have different groups doing different things over different times, everybody wants to, make something their own. As you saw, with GH Live versus the previous stuff. And that's one of the good things about harmonics, I think, is that over the period of time from Guitar Hero 1, actually, right? And then they went to Rock Band to now in Festival. It's consistent, Now, of course. Festival's not Rock Band because it has to fit within the constraints of what Fortnite is but their thinking and their methodology is still consistent.
The harmonics image is roughly equivalent. Like their idea of what their games should be and what they want to do. I don't know. There's a through line between all their games that it has a harmonics feel to it. You can't really explicitly say what it is, but it just feels right. And it feels like that's what they want to do. I don't know. The Guitar Hero kind of didn't feel that way necessarily. It just felt like we got to push this shit out ASAP, baby. And they changed developers so many times, so it's harder to have a brand identity when you have 5 different studios that have made a game. But with harmonics, it's just harmonics.
Yeah, harmonics still has a lot of their senior core members that have been around for a really long time.
Yeah,
that we've met. So, that's a big benefit to them. I think they still have a lot of those creative minds in the company doing that stuff. And I think that lends its hand to consistency. Whereas with all the later Guitar Hero games, they're trying to push out all this stuff, and so they're passing it around. They're like, all right, well, we're making another mainline series entry, but we're going to make 2 spin-offs, and so, Underground Development going to have Van Halen, and, Beanox going to have fucking smash hits, and, they're co-developing these at the same time, in the same engine, doing slightly different things, And so the consistency is just not there at all. They're saying, make it like the last one, but better, and they're like, okay, we'll try, Yeah,
and those groups had really small timelines to do this, so it wasn't like they were kind of we can. The timelines were incredibly tight. But again, I guess at the time you could argue also that there was a crazy that the world just loved that stuff at the time. So like, give more, and innovate, and then ultimately you get to a saturation point, right? And it kind of went down from there. But we've talked about this on the last one, right?
Yeah. Let's go to the meat and potatoes of this episode. The cracked guitar reveal.
I was gonna say if they make a Guitar Hero mobile, at least there might be a guitar that works with it.
This guitar works with Android and Apple.
I don't know.
Boom! I wonder who.
Yeah, but before we get into the questions, I just want to get your thoughts on the reveal itself. Internally, how's the team thinking about how the reveal went? How the community reception has been? I don't know. Just what are your thoughts?
No, I think everyone's super happy and charged. I mean, the team, the guys that put all that together and all the work they put into that, which I'm immensely proud of them all. This is a small team. It's not a big team, but the quality of work they put out is incredible. So it seems like it's been well received. A lot of love out there. Yeah, I've had loads of people coming out the woodwork from the past, going, "Hey, what's going on?" Which is cool. Yeah, no, it's been great. Yeah. So, what else can I say? I mean, as you know, yeah, I'm not like I can talk forever about topics and stuff like that, but I'm not like a big emotional sort of person, so I can't get all emotional about it. But
Totally fair.
inside, yes, we're super excited to be back on the, as I said before, back on the, back on this genre. Yeah, I think there's some lots of things down the road here. So it's just the beginning.
That's exciting too.
Step by step. Step by
Love
step.
hearing that. Love it.
Yes.
Well, anyways, let's get into some questions, shall we? Again, I told 300-ish questions were submitted. We won't be answering every single one of them.
Hold on. You say these are the best questions, and this top question on the list is the first one?
It had to make it. Lee, the first question is, does it squirt?
You told him you weren't going to ask that.
You put in the list. JP was the one who
it's there for comedy reasons.
Yeah. Does it? Anyways, next question is there Xbox 360 compatibility?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right,
Not yet. No.
That's a different kind of star power.
We're not there with technology.
You have to wait for release, you know what I'm saying? Is there Xbox 360 compatibility? That's one of the bigger questions from all the old heads. Is there Xbox 360 compatibility?
Yeah, no. Yeah, the answer's kind of no. However, there are adapters out there, I think, in the community that can work that. I mean, I can tell you technically on the back end of that. Well, I think you all know this already. 360 was discontinued a long time ago.
Yeah.
And the architecture of what that 360 wireless system was compared to what it was for Xbox One and the authentication stuff was very much different. So if you remember back, crumbs, was it 10 years ago when, was it Rock Band 4?
Yeah, 10 years this year.
Ago. Yeah, this year.
Yeah, it was.
10 years ago, remember it was on Xbox One. I think Mad Catz brought it to market, physically, and then Harmonix digitally together.
Grab one of these bad boys.
And I think they made an adapter. Yeah,
there it is.
That's the one.
That basically had the security chip. Microsoft said, "Yeah, we get it. Plastic. We want to be ecologically friendly and all this kind of stuff." So they allowed them to make some adapters. But those chips are just not available anymore, right? So
They don't make them. Yeah.
No, I mean they're just not.
Pretty sure this exact adapter here is pretty locked down with what it accepts, and then you just have to whatever sort of USB PIDs accepted into the system. But like a new guitar, a crash guitar, I don't think would work with this.
No, but there's these other little devices where you plug in a old Xbox 360 controller and I think those things, I guess, work.
Something like this, like a RetroCult Mods
Jason.
83. You plug in your Xbox 360 controller there to authenticate the controller inside, and then bam, this is your controller. And then you plug whatever into it, and then bam, your Xbox 360 reads it. There's other adapters out there, but this is the one that I use.
Shout out Roll Limitless.
Also Roll Limitless. I have one of those over there.
That's another great one. Yeah.
That was like the first one that came out.
That was pre-Sandroller, pre-guitar configurator.
That was 2019.
I have no idea how he got that figured out, but he was
dude's a god.
Firmware. He still does.
Way ahead of the time on that. Impressive, really. But so it sounds like Xbox 360 compatibility. It's going to be on us again, the third party to make it work. It'll be easy. We already have it sorted. We've been doing this shit for years. You should just be able to plug the crack guitar in and it works.
Yep. You guys are gonna be fine. Don't worry, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah. So
and if it doesn't, and you need some help on it, let us know.
There you go. That's perfect. That's all you guys need to know. That statement right there says so much about what Cracked is wanting to do. I mean, hey, you want to make it work? We can't do it legally, but hey, you guys can make it work. We'll help you.
So okay, but no, really, can we just even compare the AI Guitar Hero approach with market research versus, hey, if you need help, come talk to us. We might be able to point you in the right direction or help you out.
Two very different approaches.
I mean, we'll have opinion. I said it's not something that in this little process that we want to make it work with as many things as possible and stuff, and it's just common sense. But there are just things that
You can't do
when
anymore.
you've got a small team, you're trying to get trying to do that. The Xbox 360 thing is probably not that's not going to make our guitar better. Like, do you know what I mean? You'll make it more accessible, but I think made enough of those things over the years to know just how locked down they are, and I don't want to. Also, we have a partner. Xbox are our partner as well, so we don't want to do anything to screw with that.
Don't rock the boat too hard.
Yeah.
Well, but although Xbox 360 is way in the past now, so I don't think they're focused on that anymore. But that's the whole point. If you ever wanted to do something like this, you'd have to get engineering support and all this kind of stuff on the other end of it. Just doesn't exist there. So and why would it? Like, I mean, it just,
they don't. They're like, why do you want 360? We don't do that anymore. Like, that's really nobody cares about that thing.
Yeah.
That's
It's like
how
wanting to
they
make a PS2 guitar or PS1 fucking controller nowadays. Like, why would you ever make something for the PS1? It's the year 2025.
You're like, this is retro, man.
It's 30 years old.
They're like, we don't give a fuck if it's
retro revival.
Yeah, retro my ass.
well, those PS1 and PS2s were slightly different in a sense because you could make things for that. That's pretty easy because it's just open.
It's not Xbox 360 with authentication. You just plug a shit in
there.
there.
And that was like bank quality authentication, like what I mean? So but.
Anyways,
cool.
Moving on to a next question: will there be interchangeable faceplates?
No.
No, the guitar doesn't have a faceplate. It's all it's like kind of like printed on the plastic, yeah?
Yeah, it's like silk screen process or something like around, like,
Yeah, well, there's all different types of processors we can use. So depending on what we, what fit and finish we want to that.
Yeah, so unfortunately for me, I can't 3D print new ones. I was disappointed when he told me to, but it's okay because what they have looks very nice. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's, if there's an aftermarket for stuff, there are possibly small stencil things that people could either print or whatever that are really
skin,
thin,
a good old
vinyls.
skin.
The vinyls, yeah.
I was gonna say, bring
stickers.
it back to I went to Toys R Us when I was like 9 years old, and I got a Van Halen skin for my SG, and I was like 9 years old. Like, this is awesome. This is awesome. So I mean, hey, now it's a full circle
I guess
moment.
there could be. I mean, if there's a market for that, then people can.
Yep.
Oh, look at that! There you go.
It is.
Yeah, there you go.
Old one for the old Les Paul. This shit looks sick, doesn't it? It's just a sticker.
That looks great.
It's just a sticker, and it looks really cool.
You know which one that I remember seeing a lot? There's like some Ozzy Osbourne skin.
Yes.
Yeah,
it just says Ozzy Osbourne on it.
Yes,
I was like,
that's
that
one
looks
of them.
really cool. A buddy in high school had that. So
There were plenty of companies that made stuff like
we
that.
didn't do it for a couple of reasons. I mean, one of them, we kind of like to try and keep each product kind of unique in itself. I mean, I'm sure people can put stickers and decorate them how they want, kind of thing. But also when you're doing that, it is another layer of complexity in tool and design. Of course, we could have just done what we did before, but I don't think we really wanted to do that. But that's another set of tools and another set of complexity. When we're trying to focus on other things. That's not necessarily that. So,
So just
again,
quick question that isn't on the list right here, or if it is, I don't see it, but just feels like it fits in right here. We already have a tribal. We have a blueberry burst, and we've got these necks that can be swapped between them.
Yep.
I think it's, at least it feels obvious to me that like there could be other body designs in the future or different looks. And while the faceplates might not be there, there might still be other designs that people could swap around in the future. Would that be accurate?
Kind of like the Neo S, I guess, right?
sorry, you mean guitar bodies?
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah.
just like
That's where I was going to
different
go,
designs,
because
different looks.
that is a question on the spreadsheet I was going to ask next. Will he be able to buy different guitar bodies by itself, just like you can buy a standalone neck right now?
Well, I maybe I haven't really thought about it. So
Okay.
I think depending on, well, not even depending. I think actually we already have good indications on market acceptance and all this kind of stuff from our perspective. So I think the answer to do we want to make other shaped guitars in the future. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Subsequently, and if we do, then of course we would want to make our necks interchangeable and stuff like this. So so a possibility, yes. I guess you could, right?
Okay.
Not a problem with that.
Sounds good to me.
A lot of people
Yeah.
gonna like
Sounds
that
great.
answer.
Yeah, a
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
people are gonna like that. Sweet.
So
Here's another question for a very specific subset of people. Would you consider making a 6-fret neck for like Guitar Hero Live?
You had to do that while he's drinking water too.
Yeah. Spit take.
I'm interested. I'd want
maybe.
one. What?
Uh,
Really?
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, possibly. I mean, if there was enough. I mean, what we'd probably do first, if you can imagine now the difference between until last Thursday, everything was dark. No one you kind of knew we was doing stuff, and now you can kind of see some of what we've been doing. Once you've got the guitars out, and they're sort of out in the wild and stuff. Of course, from our perspective, we can. There's nothing to stop us making a prototype that works with the 6-fret and testing it out and having a play around and if there's enough want for that, I suppose we could do it. I guess
Yeah, even if it's not it's not produced in the same quantity as the air necks. But curious on your guys' take, if they did make that, do you agree that they should be mech frets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They should be mech frets. I wouldn't even bother going with membrane. I would just go straight to mechs with that, like you did with the Rockman one.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
okay, I'm sorry. Legally,
The solo neck.
Yeah, the solo neck. I'm sorry. Cut that part out.
Legally distinct.
Cut it.
Yeah.
Oh man, the GH Live neck sounds insane because 6-fret.
I'm not gonna lie, dude. I kind of like 6-fret.
I would try it
do.
again. I would.
Kinda.
play
I
it.
still have a place in my heart for it. You know me. Like I love the game.
Well, the old
Despite the
original
flaws.
guitars weren't that great, but this one could be better.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's the 10-year
That's
anniversary
what-
this year. It'd be
stopping
perfect.
us. There's nothing in our architecture stopping us doing that, or many
That's
other
great.
things.
That's great to know.
You can still
So-
play 6-fret charts in Clone Hero.
Yeah, and
You got
GHD
Guitar Hero
Reloaded.
TV Reloaded, man.
Yeah.
You got that as well.
Play the original
You
game
know?
again.
And there's some people that are way too fucking good at 6-fret, and they deserve it. They deserve it.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. Awesome.
I'm one of the like 7 people that still like 6-fret, dude.
It's fun every now and then.
Jason,
GC
too?
Reload's great. I love that
You
shit.
hear that? Just make 7.
Just make
Yeah,
7
go
of
for
them.
7 frets.
Just
Fuck
yeah.
it.
Oh, that
We'll
sounds,
figure out a way.
that sounds awful.
Well, the
especially
7th
if
fret
it's
will be the
four-
strum fret.
Yeah.
Oh, four on one lane or line and 3 on the other. Yeah,
Hey,
that's
we just go
uneven.
8-fret
Yeah.
then, so you can use all 4 fingers, but up and down.
Yeah.
That would work.
That's
You just have to figure-
maximum.
you just have to make a game that
Maximum
works that way.
compatibility.
Yeah.
Maximum compatibility. That actually sounds
Ooh,
awful.
10
I would
frets.
hate that.
2
Where's
sets
this
of
going?
5.
Next question,
This is-
please.
Yeah,
Next
I'm just
question.
kidding.
I'm just kidding. Yeah,
No,
let's quit
leave
this
it.
whole speculation. This is probably gonna be a quick one. Well, is the neck connector gonna break like the old Les Paul? Is it gonna break, Lee? Are you making something that's gonna break?
Dude, I can answer that shit. No. No, it doesn't. I held the damn
It's not
thing.
pogo pins, not pogo pins.
We're probably since the Les Paul, like those first Les Pauls. Well, they're only out actually for 1 year, right?
Oh,
We've
that's
probably
so weird to
made-
think
we've
about.
probably
You're
made
right.
like 10 or 15 million guitars since then that never had pogo pins.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
So,
Yeah. You ever have problems with your World Tour Guitar Hero 5 neck? Probably not.
I've
Pretty good
had
connector.
it once, but
Yeah.
it was physically broken. Right? That's
Yeah,
the
and that's
only
rare.
time.
Not the
Yeah.
pogo pins just wearing out because of a design flaw.
Yeah. A damn
No,
amazing.
I said the idea is, yeah, you learn.
You guys will see it.
But I mean, pogo pins are better these days, and we're at
Yes.
lower volumes, so you could have done it that way. But that's just, you learn, and you just don't do that again.
You don't
I mean,
scare
yeah.
the people.
I was gonna
That's
say the
really what
pogo
it is.
pins on the doohickey are fine.
Yeah, they work totally fine.
Yeah, a slightly smaller, slightly different because
Yeah.
they're very light. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, they've got way less.
But
spring
it's
pressure
not
on
like
them
you're
in
not moving
comparison.
around the guitar. You're not
Yeah.
rocking with it and stuff. So
Yeah.
gotta go with
I mean,
something better.
when people fire necks in these things, it's with force, yeah, right?
Yeah.
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 You know, so you don't get that with the doohickey. It's a
No,
nice light
it clips on pretty easily.
control.
Yeah.
That's true.
Very true. Sweet.
Another question: can there be a keyboard mode for maximum Fortnite Festival compatibility?
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
All right. Okay. Cool.
That indirectly answers a very big question. If I may interject, because people ask why there's no. They're worried about the PlayStation 4 and 5 support for Fortnite Festival because they didn't see anything on there about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's interesting. So you guys got to know me a little bit over these last few months, and you know, the one thing I think we are as a company is we don't say things before we've flushed things out, and they could be either technical flush outs or they could be contractual flush outs. It could be many things. So of course, what you saw on the multi-format, you do see PS4 and PS5 with Rock Band 4, of course, because we're using the legacy mode because that's supported. It's a game supported thing, and it actually goes back to that same question actually about 360 and those little adapters that you just pulled out, the Mad Catz adapter.
Mhm.
At the same time, the folks at Mad Catz, you know, and with Harmonix, went to Sony and said, hey, you know, we've got all these. You've now got a security chip in your PS4, and there's all these things out there, and they said, okay, fine, we'll just whitelist the ID in the system, but it's game. You know, it's only game related in a sense. So the game, it won't work on. You know, you can't use, you know, a PS3 guitar controller to generally play on PS4, PS5 in general, just other games and just nav around. But in the game, you can, like, you know, so it's the same thing. So basically, of course, that's why Rock Band 4, because it's all set up there. So I guess it could be supported, I guess, at some point in Festival. Who knows? Yeah. But that's not my. I don't control Festival right now.
I was gonna say that
Right
was
now?
a concern.
Question mark?
I was gonna say that was a
We
concern.
never know,
like a year
right?
ago. We haven't heard shit about it, man. The legacy
Doohickey
adapters.
could take over. Yeah, just a joke.
Well,
Sorry, Alec.
theoretically,
Too powerful.
theoretically, if there's a keyboard mode, we don't even have to worry about it because it would just be able to bind up, right?
Very true.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
effectively
that's
the same thing.
That's what we do with
what we
Santroller
do.
guitars. Yeah.
That's what we do with our custom controllers, man. We just hold a button, it goes into keyboard mode.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so, like, once there's keyboard mode, then it has support.
It's universal, essentially, for
Then
Festival,
it's
wherever you
universal.
want.
Yeah.
Minus
I
Switch.
think,
Minus Switch.
yeah, and from my perspective, there is that, you know, there's a difference between, you know, sort of hacking something together and sort of using it for your own use kind of thing versus something that's commercial and widespread. So
Yes. Absolutely.
of course, you know, yes, we know, you know, and it sort of has to fit into our ecosystem and also has to be thoroughly vetted and all this kind of stuff from our end. So, but, you know, I think, of course, you know, within our wider group as well, you know, PlayStation's a huge thing. You know, it's the biggest console. So, of course, we have relationships there as well, and of course that they have noticed everything, and we are having some chats about some interesting things. But again, you know, we'll come with updates on multiple things between now and launch. So it won't be like, oh, here we go, we'll see you in June. Do you know what I mean? That's it, kind of thing. I think between now and when it actually starts shipping in June, there'll be times, you know, maybe there's something in April, you know, that we give some more color on some new some new things that we're doing, you know, whether it's, you know, within the Les Paul ecosystem, you know, so and we'll do some playthroughs, and you know, you'll probably hear about it before most of the rest of the fans out there, as you did this time. So I think, yeah, don't worry, it'll be cool.
Okay.
With PlayStation.
Don't worry about it. You're fine.
Yeah. Just
Nice.
Stop freaking
Nice.
out about it.
Yeah.
Everything's
Well, I think that also brings brings kind of back really to when we set out with this stuff. We kind of wanted to build our own sort of platform to develop on. Now that's quite tough when you've got closed console platforms. However, I do believe in the future that must change. Yeah, it must, right? So if you look at general devices now, that they work across multiple medias. Apple are quite open. In the very early days they weren't. They had all these weird little ORF chips in their stuff, but now it's all very, very seamless. So I think in the future, I think things should be more seamless. But there's a big investment that goes into a single console. And the cycles are a lot longer than, say, something like an Apple or a Samsung, right? They're revving every year, so they've got to keep this, sort of compatibility and consistency going. Where I guess companies like Sony and Xbox, they have this big event and they want to optimize the experience for their fans, and that's where you get the differences. So that's the reason for it in the past, and I get it. But for some kinds of experiences like this, really, I mean, the experience is the experience. It's not really going to be any different on any platform.
That's fair.
It's our experience, as in us, the rhythm game fans, and it really hasn't changed that much in 20 years, has it? Let's be fair.
Really.
We still just want the 5 same colors, strum up and
red, yellow,
down,
blue, orange,
whammy.
Yeah. So I mean, look, we respect everybody. Again, PlayStation is a great ecosystem. So is Xbox. So is PC now. When we first did Guitar Hero, PC wasn't really a thing. There were some games on there on discs, but it was like the worst platform ever. It was just like Christ. And even from a publishing perspective, it was like crumbs, to get something out for PC. It's buggy as hell, and all the PCs aren't the same. So it's just. But how far has it come in modern day? I mean, PC is.
That might be the biggest platform at this
I play
point.
most of my stuff on PC now.
I'm surprised Guitar Hero 3 even got, a port to PC.
Yeah,
That was still before. That was still before PC gaming was really adopted by everybody. I feel like 2012 was when people started turning the page and going like, yeah, you know what, PC is pretty sick.
That's when I got my first gaming laptop. That's when I first kind of got my intro into PC gaming. Other than that, it was just console.
Yeah,
and I think we'll also have as we move forward, there will be, delivery by smart TVs and cloud and stuff. But for certain things, I mean, latency is a big thing.
Yeah.
For certain types of gaming,
rhythm gaming especially.
For sure.
Yep. But I think, it's going to change like it always does. It evolves, So who knows what the next 10 years is going to be like.
I was at Best Buy, and then there's like some gaming Samsung TV, and it's like, yeah, you can play Fortnite on it. And I was like, dude, how bad would Festival be on that shit? How bad would the latency be?
I've played it on my my Samsung TV here.
Oh, you have it.
Really?
There you go. I think it's called like Gaming Hub or something like that. Samsung Gaming
Yeah, I
Hub.
mean, it's actually, to be honest, if you actually, I was playing on Luna on that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because I have an Amazon Fire TV or whatever, so you can play Fortnite on your Amazon TV. Like, how?
Yeah, and you can play it on Xbox, like whatever it's called. They're
the cloud gaming.
Yeah, cloud gaming thing.
That's actually pretty good. I've used that before to play Balatro. It feels fine on Balatro.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but again, to your level, I mean, it's fine on like easy medium. You do a bit of simple calibration, and it's all right to muck around here. But I'm sure at the more competitive end, it's horrific, I would imagine.
Well, I was just saying, even if you go just from tapping the buttons to playing on a guitar controller, you got you have to fret and then you strum. It's like that right there. That just immediately, you need to have it on your actual screen running off of a real console. That's just not something you can do over
lag.
streaming.
Yeah.
With any sort of input lag. Like, I can adapt. I could say I can adapt. You like JP, you remember that plasma TV in that basement at that Airbnb? Dude, that shit was like 200 milliseconds of lag. I still hit like the nastiest thing ever.
Yeah, we were trying to play Rock Band 3 on it, and we were trying to find like the best numbers, and it was a process.
It was like 200 milliseconds minimum.
Yeah. And then didn't Jay Chris do some shit one-handed?
Yeah, I don't remember, dude. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Man,
we're back in the day. We had a guy. There was Rao, who we talked about before. Another guy called Mark Johnson. That guy refused to not use a CRT Sony TV, and it had to be that combo. You go, that's all I'm having. I'm not testing it on anything else. I'm like, well, please test it on some other stuff because other people use stuff.
Yeah.
No, it's terrible.
Yeah. It needs to be a Trinitron, baby.
Okay, let's not release it then, Mark. Like, let's bundle it with a Sony TV, shall we?
Yeah, bundle it.
It won't be lost.
He was.
Right. Let's move on to another question. Yeah. Would you consider making a drum kit?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yes, you will consider it.
Your answer. There's your answer.
There you go.
That's
W.
That's
no, let's be clear. That's not a yes, I'm going to make one. Yes, I'm considering making one.
At least the thought's in his head.
The thought's there.
Yeah. Look. I don't think you get back involved with this without thinking about these things. And I guess the answer's yes.
That's sick.
Okay.
And it's not a new question. Like, so let me have a think of that. We thought about it. And
there was a lot of people going like before the guitar came out of the vault, and it was just the teaser of the vault itself. People were going like, "Is that a drum pad? Is that a drum pad in the back?"
It's coming out of your pocket.
Guys, come on. Let's be real here. Like, I love drums. I prefer playing drums over guitar, but come on. What got us there in the first place? What got us there?
Yeah, it's really it's about. I said before, we're building a little kind of, I guess, a little mini platform here to develop products on, and so drums fit into that quite nicely. If there's a real need for them, and I. If you had have asked me 6 months ago, I'd have said no. But I think in the last, in the last couple of months, just generally, even within sort of our team and stuff, you just start getting. It's not even cooking, right? It's just preparation for cooking. It's just kind of and a lot of stuff from the past comes back and. I said before, you've probably heard a lot about Jared, and he loves drums, and he's like, and off he goes, and so every week there's things that just pop up, and no, don't focus on that right now. We've got this to get out, and we've got to make it right, and all this stuff. But the answers, consider it.
All right, there you go. Will there be better shipping options for those outside of the US, UK, or EU? Different places to buy the guitar besides the Cracked website, perhaps?
Potentially. It really depends on partners in these territories. Now, if you think we're a direct-to-consumer business first, but of course we do work with, we have infrastructure for sort of Amazon, for example, and other retailers. So if it comes direct to our store and there's no one in these other countries, then really all we're doing, we're taking it in, and then if there's taxes and stuff that have to be paid, then we have to sort of deal with that. There's companies that do that for us, and then of course there's the shipping cost, and whatever the shipping cost is, it's not like let's make 50% on the shipping cost. It's just like it's just literally a thing that calculates what the shipping is going to be for this box to go there. So in some cases it's bloody expensive,
like Australia. I know a couple of
people. We do have a partner in Australia, but they're very retail orientated. So it will take a bit of time, but they're not, because they're retail orientated. It's a slower. It's like this retailer only wants to take the tribal one at the entry level because we don't believe that anyone's ever going to pay $129 for a guitar. So you got all that kind of stuff, right? So I think between that, again, within 24 hours, we had a lot of trade inbounds from all sorts of countries, and so look, we'll see what we can do. But I know it's not ideal. Again, folks in Brazil, for example, I mean, some of the import duties into that place is quite horrific.
Yeah, Latin
now
America,
you could do it one way. You could say, well, the user can just do it. But then what happens when you do that? If any user just says, "Oh no, I'm not paying that tax," it just comes straight back to us, and then we end up having to pay two shippings there and back.
Yuck.
Yeah, some shit's just unavoidable with that type of
So we're going to try and
shipping.
find. Yeah, we'll make some efforts to try and find some local partners, even if it's small partners. If they want to, take a bunch of them, doesn't have to be mega amounts, and then serve their local communities. I mean, maybe that's the way of doing it. But yeah, we do know, and we do hear that. I mean, of course, they come direct to us and say, "What the hell? UPS is the amount," and then I agree with them.
I have a friend in the community in Norway, and he doesn't even have an option to purchase one. I know that.
I think we'll fix Norway. To be honest, it's always one of those things because it's on the fringe of the EU. It's not in the EU one, and all this kind of stuff. So we will figure Norway out.
Okay, we'll be happy to hear that.
Like I said, we'll fix Norway.
We'll fix Norway. We'll sort them out. Okay, next question. Will there be replacement parts sold for user mods / user repairs? So you want the clicky strum bar and the blueberry burst. Would you sell the parts rather than people having to buy the full body?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
That's amazing.
But probably not through us.
Through
probably
some sort of
pick a partner. Yeah, maybe the guy with the beard in the top left corner there. Maybe he could do it.
You get your 760 creations.
Bombshell right there. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, wait a second.
To be honest, actually you saw, right? Because we opened one of the prototypes up.
You had
so
me open that up.
They're very simple.
Well, they're very user friendly and modular, which is great.
So I think that's something that's a good fan service, through a partner or again, that's not something. Yeah, we don't really have a big enough team to
it doesn't make sense for you guys to. Doesn't make
sense.
But
someone who's got a shop, a little shop that does this kind of stuff, and we trust, and absolutely, I can't see why not, right?
That's huge.
Cool. It almost leads into another question. Would you consider offering a lefty variant of the body in the future? Can modders potentially swap the position of the whammy bar and the star power button?
Maybe.
It's a big thing that I'm thinking about, swapping them. Yeah.
Because it looks like the whammy piece and the star power piece are roughly equivalent in size, so you could theoretically make a different board to just swap them.
I don't remember if we talked about it or not. Try and fucking switch it.
Well, you probably have to make some printed parts to actually, because there's a post there to hold for the whammy that's not going to be there.
Exactly.
So you're going to have to make a printed part to mount somewhere else that's going to have an arm that has a post sticking out and just shit like that, basically.
True.
It's but it's possible.
I think it's something. And again, it's something that we kind of course, when we're designing this, we do. There are limits to sort of things. I mean, potentially. Let's leave it at that. I'm not going to promise anything, but
but
I don't like people who are lefties anyway.
Yeah, they're not real people as far as I'm concerned. Half of my family is lefties, and I make fun of them all the time.
My father is a lefty. Alec is a lefty.
I'm only joking. Don't worry.
My cousin has a little daughter.
The face you just made for that, you're like.
my cousin has a little daughter. She's about 2 years old. Both of her parents are left-handed, and they're teaching her to do left-handed stuff, even though maybe the baby itself wants to do something with the right hand. Like, no, you're gonna be a lefty just like us, so that we can all use the same scissors.
It's hereditary, man.
And the left-handed fucking it might be a learned behavior. I don't know,
That's
but
a learned behavior. I don't know. My daughter, me and my wife are both left-handed, and then my daughter just decides to do something left-handed. We're like, all right, cool. You do your own thing.
you really got to do both so you can teach her to be ambidextrous early.
That's what I'm saying.
That'd be the cheat code.
She wants to play plastic guitar, and I'll give her a guitar, and then she plays normally.
You play normally as a lefty.
I play normally.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, new question. What inspired you to make a new rhythm game peripheral, and how did you snag the Lore Hero crew as consultants?
Good question. Snag.
Snag.
Second,
Nope.
We're trying to.
I'm not sure you're consultants, but I mean, in the technical term, I guess we just reached out to you guys, and it kind of evolved naturally from there. I think we both have the same goals, right? Of making great things in this, in this genre. So I think that's how it's sort of blossomed, right, over the last number of months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously Alex sort of introduced the crew around, and it's gone from there.
No,
so,
it just kind of went like that.
Yeah.
It was so fast.
Yeah, so I don't think of you as consultants. I just think of you as
just some dudes,
sort of partners or whatever, in this thing. So, yeah.
Short answer: real respect, real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true, bestie.
What was the first part of the question?
First part of the question was, where was I? What inspired you to make new rhythm game peripherals?
Well, I think I sort of mentioned on the last one. I think we go back a couple of years, 18 months, 2 years, where a small group of us, including Tim and Brian and stuff, and John actually, and Jared, we said, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool to, get back on this?" Because we'd been obviously the Clone Hero thing had been going on, and there was a lot of stuff online with lots of crazy things and stuff. So we started, just as I said before, we was quite interested. Keep an eye on this, and again, as I said last time, I wanted to make a game. I was just like, let's just make a game. It'd be awesome, And I think it was Tim's just going, just make a guitar, And we did some early work on guitar, and then sort of things just got away with your priorities change kind of thing. And then of course, when festival kind of hit, so okay. So again, we kind of, as I'd previously sort of stated, that's where the doohickey had originally come from, because I tried playing it with a regular controller, and I was like, ugh. I am not I'm not as good as you guys at this stuff, and I was just like, So that's where the doohickey came out of, and of course instantly, the guitar thing comes up again at the same time. So as you can see, it's a lot easier to sort of execute on the doohickey, right? Because you've already got a controller that's going in production already, and we already had the outputs to put it onto. But at the same time, we started to look at guitars, and then of course our friends at PDP launched a guitar. So it was really interesting to see that there was a good market. That they had kind of made an investment and a bet, into festival being something. So that was another indication from us. So that they kind of they kind of proved the market case in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And they totally did.
To really interject here real quick, that's kind of what we were saying back when the Riffmaster first came out. It was like, hey guys, if this does well, this opens the door to many other different instrument manufacturers to make other guitars. This is like a proof of concept here. If we need to support this because this is big for the scene overall. And I think we were right in that.
No, I think it's like anything with that opportunity. I'm sure they had constraints on time and stuff, because time is of the essence when these things are happening. You've got to move fast, like, you know. But the good thing about those guys, they had previous experience with the Rock Band stuff, right? So it wasn't as if they were just, you know, doing it blind. So so that sort of came out and sort of, well, hey, you know, let's do some more. Let's dig some more. What do we really want to make? And it went from there, really. So then we just focused down on what we wanted to make. And then, of course, this is where we're at.
Excellent.
Yeah. And along the way, I must say, we did reach out quite a bit around, whether it be folks like yourselves or, you know, back into our own ecosystem from the past, and, you know, reminisced a bit. You know, had lots of talks with Charles over the time, and he's like, "Oh, are you sure, Lee?" Just like, yep.
Anyways, new question. Are you in need of testers, and is Crack hiring?
Testers, always. And hiring, I guess we hire as we need, like, for things. So I think as we progress forward, you know, on that tester thing, I think all products that we do going forward, you know, you'll have the first one and then you'll have things. So I think a core test group that's actually real players from the real community who are verified and, you know, kind of, yeah. So I wouldn't rule that out, and that may be part of the hub evolution as well. You know, where I mean, it was a very small thing, but we've got plans for that in the future as well, where there'll be kind of lockdown zones for groups to, you know, kind of focus on feedback and maybe testing and stuff like that. You know, where
that's an interesting idea to use the hub for.
That's pretty cool.
Never thought of it, something like that for the hub.
It's kind of like getting talent from people you see on like YouTube or whatever. It's like, hey, that guy looks like he's pretty good.
Yeah, get him involved.
You know, let's get send him a
DM.
DM.
So yeah, I think so.
Cool. That kind of leads me to another question. Can Cracked make a Windows app alongside their mobile app?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they can. Okay. They can do
it.
You asked can they, not will they.
Can they, will they? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the more on that later, I think. I think the mobile app's the most universal, and, you know, especially for, you know, firmware updates, but also just everyone carries a phone with them everywhere. Anyway.
I mean, how do you tap in your EOS on your computer, right? How do you do that?
Well, you're gonna have to get you're gonna have to get an NFC pad or something, or do it wired.
But you could,
I was gonna
say, I think to that
every
point,
other function
on an app for a PC or a Mac or whatever, you could have different functionality for different things. As I said before, you could have some deeper things with the community potentially. But
ooh, okay, cool.
Does the Xbox variant work natively on PC with Clone Hero, Yarg, and Fortnite Festival? What's the difference between the Xbox and multi-platform version? With regards to PC, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, so the answer is yes. Basically, the standard PC is the old Xbox. I guess it was the old 360 set, right?
X input.
Yeah. X input.
Yeah, with basic X input. So that will carry across onto this as well. But then you've got the new Xbox stuff that's a little bit more tricky to integrate into this other stuff, right? So so the Xbox will support that as well.
Okay, because I think part of the confusion came from like there's different verbiage used for each different model. Like the multi-platform version says supports PC or whatever, and I think the Xbox version says
I think
supports
some
Windows
of that
10
also
and
comes
11.
at the last minute. You've got the Xbox licensing stuff that you put on there, and that's where they like to put Windows and
Yeah,
you know,
because
because it's part of their little ecosystem, so that gets up on there, and then over on the other side and the doohickey and everything, it says PC because you know technically it works on Linux and all this other stuff.
Yeah, but they want to say Windows. You got to buy Windows.
Right? That was the confusion with like the Riffmaster, dude. Like, I mean, full disclosure, it said it on the box. It's like works with Windows, and then we tried it on Clone Hero, and it didn't work.
It doesn't work.
So
I can't
like,
whammy. I can't tilt.
Oh, I can't do anything without a program. That was the Xbox version.
Or
on
that,
PC, so
you're
like,
the unlucky one there. We all got PlayStation.
You guys all got PlayStation ones. I got the because it said Windows on it, and I was like, I'm gonna get that one. Dead. like nothing. Bro.
I think, you know, there's some good things. I mean, that I guess, you know, again, maybe with the Riffmaster, maybe that was one of those constraints of time. Do you know what I mean? That they wanted, they need to get the core experience just nailed sense. And all this other, because it is a pain in the ass, all this other stuff. But there's some really cool things, like there's some 8-bit do controllers that, you know, are licensed wired controllers, but they're also wireless with authentication with, you know, mobile devices and all this other stuff. So there's lots of ways to deal with this. So again, as we move nearer to launch, we'll add more color to these things as things come up and as we test things out and all this kind of stuff. So
cool
with videos as well. So
it's very much still in development, folks.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean most of it's firmware stuff, so it's not really hardware.
Hardware's like all set and stuff.
Yeah, from what I played on IGN, I was like, this isn't the final version. Like, I don't know.
Feels good to me, folks.
Yeah, I think one thing, you know, just generally, especially on console, I would say that historically everything's kind of done, locked, and shipped, and if there's a problem, you're screwed. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
And that can still be the case if there's a hardware problem or a defect or something. But not so much now on if you build your right ecosystem, and you can update firmware, and you should be updating firmware to optimize it over time. So I would imagine, for example, with the guitar, it'll get manufactured, it'll come by sea and shipped, and you know, the minute you tag it into your phone, I mean, it'll work anyway, but if you tag it into your phone, it'll say update available. I'm pretty sure there'll be an update between when it ships and when it's. It doesn't mean that it needs the update to work or anything, but it just means there'll be something. There'll be something that we.
It's like going gold in a game and then needing a day one patch. It's like that.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. People understand this shit. You'd be surprised if you buy a game and you don't have to download an update right away. You know, or you know, people have to update the firmware on their PS5 controllers. That's a thing. Xbox controllers, you need to update the firmeware.
That'll start
Xbox
with the
tells
Xbox
you, the
One.
PlayStation tells you. You know, and I mean, the Rock Band 4 instruments had a micro USB in there.
I forgot about
to update the firmware. They only had like 1 or 2 revisions.
Drums,
and the drums,
fucking
drums.
The drums were fucking necessary, and it didn't even fix it.
The drums were broken.
No,
when they
it got
came out.
worse.
They were bad. They were really bad.
But it's
it's
not new.
Yeah, I remember it was like, I don't have to hit directly in the center of the pad anymore. It's like, wait, what? Wait a minute. Hold on. Thank God I never had one of those.
That's the point where the mobile's so important for this thing, because if you just integrate this, you know, like BLE into all your products, you literally just connect to your app privately, do your thing, and you're done, right? And I think that's what we also thought with our ecosystem as well, that we just need to have that on everything.
It's a powerful feature to have.
I was gonna say, like, if you know, with all the custom guitars that we have, you know, as much as I love seeing everybody's branded Sandtroller, was like, the end game would be having Sandtroller on my phone and just tapping it in, and then knowing that this is gonna be with the Gibson cracked guitar. It's just like, dude,
the amount of people to think that they're like, you know, they download the retro cult mods, like fork of Sandtroller. And they're like, it's not working with my guitar, and it's like, bro, you need the.
It's not made.
Or like
I
they'll get
mean, that stuff. Yeah, I mean that stuff's Yeah, I mean, the
It's
tinkerers,
homebrewed,
modders, and
you
stuff,
know.
and it's really good stuff. But what we're talking about here is everyone just expects that to happen now. If you
Yes.
you know what I mean, you've got electronics and bump, that's what we've got to try and
Well, my headphones do.
But we do love.
Headphones.
We do learn as you know, we do learn, and we've seen some amazing things from this community as far as modding and tweaking and all this kind of stuff. So
Chantroller's pretty amazing, man.
yeah. So
it's amazing. Yeah.
Anyways,
Cool.
how receptive were Gibson to the idea of making a new Les Paul controller, despite there being no current Guitar Hero game?
That's a great question. Not gonna lie.
They had to be kind of receptive. They made the controller
said
with you,
yes.
right?
Yeah, I mean it's there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you got Daily Mail on their fucking TikTok saying Gibson has released a new controller. It's like, it wasn't them. It was crack.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
No, they were very. Look, I mean, it. How can I explain? I've got nothing but great things to say about Gibson of today. To my surprise, when we approached them for this, they got it like really fast. And of course, they saw what we were sort of planning on doing. And I've got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure to deal with.
So good to hear.
From start to finish, super supportive, and a really tight timeline as well, right? Because as you know, the shape and then the headstock shape and stuff is a registered trademark. It's a piece of their IP. So these things have got to be flushed out properly. Rules have got to be set. But of course, we had some experience before, so
that helps.
But yeah, and actually, it was interesting because I think all companies in 20 years go through different transitions. But I was speaking to Charles. The original deal with those guys was really good. They were just like that back then. Like when GH1, they were the same. They would let's do this. And really. It's only when things got crazy later on, and the big Activision and all this kind of stuff, that kind of fell off the wagon for I guess for many reasons, and that's why I didn't go there straight away, because I just thought I'll probably turn up there and I go, oh, we have bad experiences with all this stuff, but it was their total polar opposite. They were just like, oh, we love it, it's back.
It makes you so happy.
That's
Yeah.
so
So
sick.
sick.
I love
That's-
hearing that
I'm
phrase.
so-
It's back.
Yeah.
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 And it's just like, I was super, again, absolute pleasure to deal with, even into the launch. I mean, you're talking about you're licensing with somebody and you've got questions, you've got things, and they're back to you within like 20 minutes.
Wow.
It's
That's
just,
oh my
impressive.
gosh.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
impressive.
Hats off.
they're
Hats off.
really, and they, the blue burst, we had actually the final blue burst was actually a lot of input from them guys. Yeah, we had something that was kind of 80% of the blue burst, and they went, oh, we kind of like it, it's really cool, but can you do this? And they sent us something, and we went, yep. And then we got back to them in 24 hours, and they went, approved.
Wow.
Wow.
So cool.
It makes me so happy to know that they're so like locked in and on board with all
Yeah,
this.
and I think I think it adds a lot of value to what we're trying to do as well.
Yeah.
Of course, we do have a history from the past. So do they, and they are, one of the two premium guitar manufacturers in the world. Like, I of course I'm always biased. I always think they're the best. So I again, great partnership. So nothing but praise, and it's long term. Yeah, it's a long term thing as well. So that's
Long
good.
term.
It's not a one and done. So
Oh.
That leads
Okay.
well into this next question. If you release different body types in the future, like an SG, will the necks of the Les Paul be compatible?
Oh, that was on the list. That's that. I jumped the gun
Yeah.
earlier. Then I looked around.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. That's my fault.
Oh wait, did you ask that already? I don't remember.
He did.
Yeah,
it was
that was the one
earlier.
that-
It's
Oh,
okay.
that's on me. I just saw something that was like close enough, and I was like, that's a good question to ask along with this. But okay, we already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Blame me.
generally-
Blame me.
I think generally, I think the idea would be to make them all compatible.
It'd be kind of silly
I mean, that
not
makes
to in
sense.
a way.
It would be
Yeah,
silly
that makes
not
sense.
to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, money wise, many things wise, it would not make sense.
Yeah.
You know?
I was gonna
It
say,
makes so
you
much
know,
sense for
having
the
the
future.
ecosystem,
Yeah.
ecosystem. It's just like have everything work with itself.
Hey, you
Yeah.
want to
You know
slap
what I
your
mean?
fucking solo fret neck on whatever the hell you have? Like, you can do that.
Do it.
You know?
Just do
I
it.
Can't
love
wait
the
to-
idea.
Yeah.
Like, if you got different body types in the future, and let's say we did get a 6-fret neck, or some other new mode gets dropped in Festival, and a new neck entirely gets made for that, and we see suddenly a flying V body shape, and like 6-fret neck on it, whatever. Just throw them together. Hot swap. That sounds so.
Oh, I mean, you
sick.
gotta.
That's a future I want to live in, man.
But
Yeah.
they gotta do the Kramer justice once and for all, man. It's not Gibson though. That's the problem. It's not
Yeah.
Gibson. So
Yeah.
that would be complicated. It's a different brand entirely. But yeah.
God, Kramer's part of their family, though. They own.
Is it? They do?
Yeah.
Okay, well that's great to hear.
Yeah, we could do
Well
the Kramer
done.
if we wanted.
Oh.
I mean, well, if they wanted to and we wanted to, let's
You
be
need to
fair.
make it.
We're just talking
You have to make an
hypotheticals.
SG. You have to make an Explorer. You have to make a Kramer. You have to make
Do everything.
some sort. You have to make one of everything. No,
I wonder, like, okay, so
One
this
guitar
is
to rule them all.
completely like off the wall right here, but I do wonder if Gibson would be open to like some of their side brands, like if we could get something like a more entry level guitar that was like the Epiphone Les Paul.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Imagine.
That would be
possibly.
incredible.
I love that. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
possibly.
possibilities are endless.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't spoken about that, but again, they're very amicable. And as a Kramer from the last time we did this, that came from that thing. That was part of Gibson.
Okay.
It was just
Okay.
like we're looking for a different shape, and they did Kramer,
Wow.
Dude, you
Holy
have no
shit.
idea how excited people are to just like
That's-
hear the possibility
that's
of it.
crazy.
Not even like
Yeah.
no, you didn't have confirmation, but it's like, oh yeah, like Kramer, that it's in the deck of cards, right? Like that's something that we could
yeah,
talked about it.
Yeah, no,
It's in
that'd
his
be
brain.
cool as well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kramer was an interesting one because it was kind of in that timeline when all that was happening. Although it was PS2, the Les Paul stuff was already in flight, kind of thing. So they actually came. They were from exactly the same era, but the Les Paul, as you know, well, as you can see, there was a lot more thought put into that. And the Kramer was more simplistic guitar.
Yeah. It was a PS2 guitar. It was like like a kind of natural evolution of the SG. It's like, oh, we have the detachable neck, which wireless. That's it.
Mhm. Here's an interesting question. Are the fret switches hot swappable with other existing low profile switches? That's really asking about what kind of switch did you have put in this thing
Because we didn't
for
get
the,
to use
for the
it.
mechanical switches at least.
Nope.
Not the
Yeah, no,
silicone,
they're
that's not a
our
switch.
own switch. Well, I mean, our own. We're using quality switch folks, but we've designed our own mechanicals for the housing of the switch in a sense, to fit in with like our long-term plan around our how the mechanical and things come together. So for efficiency and stuff like that. So
Honestly,
as you know, you've done these things, so you've been
Yeah.
packing things in and all sorts of.
No,
sort of
this
packing
is
around.
it's for the best that Correct kind of has their to spec switch made, because as I've discussed with you, like privately, like the hardships of like tuning stuff like travel distance and like how deep do the frets go in the casing, and none of that it's a problem if you just make your own fucking switch, but there's a lot of money involved in that, and like I can't afford that, but Cracked has the resources and the finances to make something like that happen, and it's worth it for making a superior product as well, offering the best experience, because you're in complete control of that. It's not just you being like, all right, how do we make this work, kind of, sort of.
No, and it was something that we kind of wanted to do out the gate. So when we're developing the mechanical design for the necks, for all kinds of different things, whether it be mechanical frets or there's a bunch of stuff actually. We got to make sure that tooling's optimized for that, and we're not kind of hacking around, compromising, around this thing. So yeah. I mean, again, as we move forward, we could adapt different switches in the same form factor with different feelings, different things. Just like you see now, kind of thing. But again, maybe that's something that we would do. With a small community feel. We'd have our standard mech frets and stuff, and then we'd do some others, get them out to folks to test with, and see what they think, and and maybe one of them might make it into a mass product, and if not, the other ones maybe into people modding.
It's like, hey, you want to fuck around? Here you go.
Yeah.
That's basically.
I'm all for it. I mean, as long as I don't have to do all the fucking around, long term.
You're a busy guy, so
we're all for kind of letting people, helping people have some fun with this thing. It's kind of that's what the
that would be that would be a great. I have a buddy in the modding scene, and we've talked about we've reminisced on the days where modding was fun for us, and then it became commercial, and that's why I'm so burnt out on it. And it's that's one of the big reasons why I'm excited for this guitar, is because I have a whole new ecosystem to figure out. It's all new uncharted territory, whereas the Red Octane stuff is pretty heavily documented at this point. Everything is known about it, and it's Cracked introduces all these new things, and it'll be interesting again. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, new horizons.
Exactly. All right, Jake.
New question. The other one was originally about neck stuff. Will a Hall effect neck happen?
Yes.
So Hall effect switches in the neck. Yes.
Yes.
It's gonna take more time.
That's exciting. It must take.
All right, I hear every player on all sides of the spectrum just collectively just go, oh, every single one of them.
That was something that we brought up during our live episodes. What if they do that? Because with the Hall effect strum bar, you can adjust the actuation point about where you want that thing to actuate. So you could have just the tiniest little movement actuate the strum bar, or you have to bottom it out. Do the same with fret buttons theoretically. So you have to, if you play hard, you could set the actuation point a bit lower. Or higher? No, lower. Higher would be if you just barely breathe on it, it'll actuate. So you can just do a little, and then you trill really quickly.
You don't really want that, but
I mean, hey,
but you could.
There's a not even really small. There's a subset of players that would appreciate that.
No,
there's
also a lot of plates. What about
there's also a lot of people who value precision. So a lower actuation point would be
Hall effect would be the ultimate precision.
It would maybe somewhere in the middle. I have some old mech frets from the OG Destroyer JP.
Yeah,
that's the one that I use almost exclusively when it comes to some section.
Yeah,
it's I need that neck. Mm-hmm. That's crazy to say. All right,
I need that neck. All right.
This area is quite interesting for us and has been for a long time, actually. I mean, not just the whole, and some other technology as well that we've been sort of goofing around with for a while. So there is some intellectual property sort of in and around this space that we've sort of authored as well. So I mean, you've seen all in the past. We've done. Christ knows how many patents around stuff. It's not a case of just doing something, putting in the paperwork and saying, there you go, it's all done, we got a patent. But we got a whole bunch of stuff around this area that we kind of have got some initial stuff in with the patent office as well. And that's not necessarily, again, not to stop anyone doing things, but it's just as you find things that are unique, it's worth protecting them, I think, because
absolutely,
you spend a lot of time and effort and money
in R&D
in this, and then you do it, and then someone comes along and just knocks it off,
and then they sell better than you.
Or they do stuff. They don't have the same capital investment into the development as what we did, because they just took it and then just said make that.
Mm-hmm. You got to protect what's yours.
Yeah, so we have a bunch in there. So I think, as time goes on, we'll speak more about that. Maybe deeper in the community, not necessarily about patterns and stuff, but just about what some of this stuff is. And it's not just for music gaming; it sort of comes outside of that as well. So,
I mean, as nitty gritty as you want to get, I'm here to listen to it. I love the nitty gritty stuff.
Please,
Hell yeah,
please.
Another question. In the future, can Cracked create a customizer so you can order the specific body and neck combination you want rather than being restricted to one or the other?
Yeah, possibly. We're not really set up for that right now, but I mean, some could argue with the extra necks. I guess we are, but I think once we're out, everything's sort of out and settled down. Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, I guess, but it's not something that we've put any effort into right now because
gotta get launched first.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean that would be cool, wouldn't it, to have like a? It's more likely to happen. Yeah, it's more likely to happen on our site than it would be on an Amazon or something like that.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
so
I think it's a possibility. Yeah.
Shit, I mean, if you're talking about like getting some
fucking
sort of
engravings
third-party modder scene to make like replacement parts, you could even go through them to do that. Like you could have this person like assemble your guitar for you or whatever.
Yeah,
it could be like a whole different
absolutely.
part of the team.
I think we're
That's
open.
Cool.
We'd definitely be open to look whatever's good experience for the customer. Then why wouldn't you look at it, right? I mean, I know sometimes these things are small in they're not necessarily, they're a heavy lift, but hey, you know what? I think if you can win a customer's trust for the long term, even if they don't buy much more because it lasts so long, I think it's worth its weight in gold, right?
No, that's valuable for sure. Just having the trust, because I mean, I don't have to explain that. Obviously, it's an obvious, yeah, of course, duh.
I've had people come to me and be like, I bought a guitar from you 4 years ago and it still works. I'm like, what? It didn't break, really? Like, I'm shocked sometimes, like fucking
You've had
Randy,
this for how many years and it's not broken yet? What the hell?
Like Alec, fucking Randy has a guitar for me that's like multiple years old and it just still works. And I'm just like, you out of all people didn't break that thing? How? Like
the way he beats on his shit.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a real good time to ask our audience, because if they're listening this deep into the episode, they're tuned in. So if you are listening this deep and there's a specific body type that you feel like, hey, this would be awesome to see, or if there's a certain neck idea you have, this is a perfect time to throw it in the comments so the Crack team can see it for the future.
Totally.
Just throwing that in there.
Absolutely.
Like, if there's a potential for a customizer, that's something I'd love to see.
Dude, that
I'd
would
love
be
to
so
see,
sick.
Imagine a year or two from now, somebody goes in and goes, oh, I really want this body type and I want this neck with these specific features.
Build your own guitar. Build your own guitar, man, and like there could be
so cool.
different colored frets.
It's like buying a new car from
Something like
from
that.
not a dealer, but from the manufacturer themselves. My cousin just he flew to Virginia or West Virginia, something like that, from Texas, because there was one model of a Jeep Gladiator in the entire country that had a very specific set of factory features that he wanted, and it was used. It was like 3 years old. He didn't want to buy a brand new one, but he wanted these exact features. But that's the only one that has it, so that's a rare one. You could create your own rare cracked guitar. People that'd be looked at for by 2.01% of people. It's like, that's exactly what I want.
Oh, and then you can have like your name engraved on the back or something. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool as shit. Okay, that's a little bit extra, but you know what I mean. It's
Just
just
a lot
like
of bit extra.
Dude, people love that shit. People love that little like that customization
do,
process, man. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool.
That's why people get
Xbox
like painted
is really
faceplates.
Xbox is really embracing the whole customized controller thing too. I mean, you can go on
Imagine
an
that with
Xbox
a guitar,
website and
bro.
make whatever fucking color combination of things you want. I think you can make like even like the Elite controllers as well. I think you can customize, so you have all these different trigger options and like extra buttons. It's kind of neat. People like customizing their shit. But anyways, that's all post-launch stuff. Here's a question that's pre-launch. Does this round of pre-orders have a limit?
Not yet.
I mean, what if you get 1 million? Is that a limit?
Then there'll be a limit. Yeah. Yeah.
But no, there's not like a specific number of pre-orders that are allotted, and then it gets shut off necessarily.
No, not again. I don't. No, I don't think so. Unless there was some crazy number where we just have to say, look,
Where it'd be literally
We need more
impossible to
time to
fulfill
make
those orders.
these.
yeah,
Yeah.
But I think we're, yeah, I think we should be fine.
Sweet.
Okay, that was a question I've heard quite a few times. Like, I can't pre-order right now. Is it still gonna be available next week when I get paid or whatever? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll be
Well,
fine.
you're gonna have that
I'll
initial.
just get it
you know,
later.
wave.
Though. I'm only joking.
No, order right now. It's pre-order today. It won't be here tomorrow. Do it right now.
And use our codes. Use the codes.
FOMO.
Yeah.
This one just says, "I don't like blue. Help." You got the black tribal right there, buddy.
I don't like blue. Help.
I don't like blue. Help. That's the question.
Shit.
Oh no, Jason. Oh no, me. All my shit's blue lights back there too.
A blue
There
mat.
could, on that point. I mean, look, I think just if you look at what we've kind of done generally with Crack, and then we've got a lot of stuff with, yeah, we have Pope Art doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Shout out Pope Art.
Shout out Pope
Shout out
Art.
to Pope.
The fan art stuff that he does, some stuff does make it through to actual production, small lot production stuff, you know. So that shouldn't necessarily be any different here on the guitar. I'm just probably going to do it right now because, you know, we've got to focus on getting the thing out. But out the other side, there could be small lots, you know, limited numbers of, you know, designs and
The
things.
collectible
We got
guitar
15
controller.
red ones.
Yeah.
Got 15 red ones.
Yeah, and then
I
you can
want
put
a
it in your
red one.
cracked app and you see your number one. That leads me to another question. This is from Matter07, guy who runs the
Hey,
Low
shouts
Hero
to
Out of
Matt.
Context Twitter account.
That's
Can you give me product number 1 for my guitar pre-order? Thanks. So he wants the very first one that you can scan into the cracked app. Can you do that for him?
Yeah, no problem. Easy.
All right, cool.
Done.
There you go, Matt. Back. I think I have one more serious question on this list. I'm just going off the deep end here. What is Lee's personal favorite part of the guitar? That it exists?
If I look at it, hang on.
Oh, this guy.
He's just
This
got it there.
guy.
Just eyeball a little bit, you know.
You know, I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to open up a load of things. It's the strum bar, yeah,
Yeah.
Which one?
Really?
the new strum bar,
Of course, yeah.
The new one.
and yeah, it is, yeah. It's a little that was a bit of a passion idea
It's from the
that
future.
was very early on, and it kind of evolved very quickly, and was proved out quite quickly. So yeah, that's I like it all, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's quite interesting because we've been playing with the haptics and all this kind of stuff, so that's evolving and really evolving in firmware and a whole bunch of things. But I turned it off about a week ago and just play without it for a bit. And I like it without it as well. And
I liked it
of
without
course,
it
you
too.
don't have the click, but you have to stop, right?
Yeah.
So I saw
Yeah.
some people going, "Oh, is it spongy?" No, it's not
Hell no.
spongy. It's
Oh, no.
it's like a traditional Guitar Hero strum bar, but it hasn't got the click because the buttons aren't there. But you have to stop. Still,
Yeah, it
right?
contacts the body. If you're familiar with how an old Guitar Hero guitar works, you know, you have these two little rubber stops on the bottom of the strum bar that hit the body when you move it back and forth. So it still has a very tactile feel when you can push it down.
It's more of a thud. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a
Yeah,
rock
it
band
is.
guitar where there's actually foam.
Yeah.
What that the
Yeah.
strum bar
Yeah,
contacts.
And to the point, on the Rock Band strum bar, I mean, some people like that strum bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
true.
You know, I think it's all personal preference, like, you know. But yeah, again, I'm biased because I kind of got bored up on this meat and potatoes, right, versus that meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that a little bit, and I like goofing around with where it's triggering and all this kind of stuff, which is really cool as well, right? So yeah, I really like the strum bar, and it's not going to break. It's going to be consistent, like, you know.
It
That's
will
all
be.
effect.
You know, I've seen a lot of people confused. You know, like it probably worth Crack's while. Maybe there's something that Jack thought about to like just make like a little 1-minute video. Be like, you know, we want to talk about the blueberry burst strum bar, right? And like just like how how does it work? Because a lot of people are confused. Which I knew what happened, and I'm sure you did too, to be honest, where you're like, oh, well, it's not the same, and so people are going to be like, hey, wait a second, I want the same one, and that's why it's like, oh, well, we have the old one as well.
Yeah, and I think the reason on the old ones, I was the one that made the decision to actually create and support the old one as well, because I think, well, actually, it was actually your guitars, actually, that the ones that you do actually made me think that way. Because they're actually really crisp and nice.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
And most of the ones I've got from
Vouch.
the old days, most of the ones I got from the old days are a bit worn out and a bit knackered now. You know, the old things, and they work okay. I was like, oh, you know what? I think we should, you know, have something modular that could work. And then the modular went from, hey, let's just put it in the tribal, like, you know. And actually, again, we did our own. We've done our own kind of spec on that as well, and our own little design, because there wasn't really anything out there. I mean, there's the same switches that you guys use, but I just wanted to use something else.
No,
I wanted to get it nice. You know,
I'm pretty excited to compare the two, because like I'm already trying to like remember how the Pro one felt, and I'm just like, okay, that was already really good, and it like blew away my expectations too, because like when you I don't know, because like I was like, okay, how's this gonna play? And then we played it, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was the same way going into it, hearing about what this haptic strum bar was like.
We were all skeptical.
That seems weird. I don't know about that. And then I played on it for like 5 minutes, like, oh, I get it now. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
me too.
I like it,
I played on it, and I was
it didn't take long at all.
But that's the type of thing where there's no real great way to compare it to something people already have experience with.
It's new.
The way I have, because I've been getting questions from people just in like DMs, like, so like, what does that guitar actually feel like? You know, like, what's the strum bar like? I want to get the Blue Burst, but I'm not sold on the haptic strum bar yet. The way I've described it, it's like an old Guitar Hero controller, except for there's just no switch. Imagine it, except for it's just smooth up and down. There's no click that you hear, that you don't feel the click. You feel this rumble to simulate a click. So you feel it still, but you don't feel it still. In a way, it's more smooth.
And the haptics follow where your trigger point is. So it's
some people were asking that too. And I was like, oh no, when the switch actuates, the haptic triggers, like they're synced to each other. Yeah.
I was also saying, like, it's kind of like a perfect world tour strum bar, I think, in a way. It's like if you took the Guitar Hero World Tour strum bar and you just like stayed at that and perfected. You know what?
Actually, that is probably a decent way to describe, because the World Tour strum bar feels markedly different than all the other ones, because it's a different type of switch.
They'll use micro switches and springs, and
that switch is a bit more. Yeah, it's kind of similar to that, but in a good way, because the strum switches in that were known to fail. This one,
but I actually liked the World Tour strum bar. I thought it felt good.
I liked it too.
Look,
listen, I liked it too. The switches were bad.
Like phantom. They would phantom strum. They would just.
I had to go to Radio Shack and get 2 switches, and then they never broke again. It never broke again after that, and that's how much I believed in the World Tour strum bar up until like God knows when. I used that up until like 2016.
Well, whatever manufacturer made the PS2 a variant of the World Tour, they actually used the highest quality micro switches. I don't know why, but compared to 360, PS3, and Wii. I think the Wii ones were like, you know, because like the Wii
I think it was because the
quality.
PS was like the PS2 was like peaking in how many people had it in their homes. So
they were making less, I guess.
I don't know, dude.
The volumes of those things was absolutely out there. It was nuts, and actually the time we had on that was crazy. And actually there was even more factories doing World Tour guitars than there were previously.
That's crazy.
God, it was
That's
insane.
crazy.
And we wanted to get consistency, because we couldn't. We were struggling to get the consistency with the old Les Paul ones. Actually, we had different suppliers, and because they couldn't meet all the right numbers and stuff, and so we was trying to get consistency. That's what you do with these parts. You try and find something that can be consistent. Of course, yeah, it doesn't always work out that way, right? So you have things, and especially in those times, short periods of time with huge production runs, and there's no like, oh, we're going to delay it a month. It's coming. Like, it's coming. So I think we came out of it pretty well in general. I mean, we had very low return rates on this Guitar Hero stuff over the years. It was pretty amazing. Now, of course, you'd pick up on all the small thing, all the things that did sort of happen because you're so, I guess, sensitive to that because you are the hardcore. Like, if something ain't working right, you're all over it. Like,
there's a guitar.
But generally, we had some really low. Yeah, actually, that was one thing at Activision. They were like dumbfounded over time, just at how low the faulty return rate was of this stuff. Yeah, compared to how many we were selling, if you can imagine, right?
Millions upon millions, tens of millions,
millions and millions.
It was.
Oh, I know that guitar.
I was gonna say this one. I sent this one to Alec, and the whammy bar's fucked up. You see how it's like sticking out, like it has like the rubber gasket around it. So this one I sent to Alec, and I think within not that long of you having it, you told me, you're like, JP, this thing's fucking phantom strumming. Like so Alec would sit there not playing like this, and it would just strum. It would just strum.
Oh wow.
So it was just a bad batch of switches. It happens sometimes, and when you're making millions, that's gonna happen way more often. So,
I mean, like back to it though, it's like I liked the feel of that strum bar, and I missed it as much as I like the GH5 guitar also. But now switches don't matter with Hall effect. It's not gonna overstrum. It's just gonna be. It's gonna exist and it's gonna work. It's just gonna work.
Which is what we need.
I think that still like blows my mind. It's like you're gonna be able to adjust actuation points and all this stuff, and it's like future guitar.
It's a dream.
Future guitar.
It's a dream.
Future guitar.
I think once it comes out and people have it in their hands, they're gonna be like, "Holy shit, this is based as hell." They're gonna
understand it. Like I said, this is where I missed, like E3 being a thing. Like if there was a booth to try out a controller or something like that. I don't know if you guys have ever done anything like that, but like if it did exist, that's more people could understand. So when it's just us, it's like, yeah, you're just dudes online that talk to a camera. But
it's really tough considering that, again, like we've all been used to something as a baseline for years, right? Like these games, like we got used to them in the first Guitar Heroes, and then kind of switched up with Rock Band, different guitar controllers, right? But with custom controllers as they are now, like we've kind of had this one base level of what things are for this genre for years and years and years now, and this is a disruptor, right? Like it's different, and that different scares people.
It does,
but at the same time,
like 6 fret.
Yeah.
Well, hey, hold, very different.
But that's,
I know it's way different.
That's why the tribals here is a pacifier, just in case.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And I don't know
See,
if people
that's
like really
that's
thought of it this way,
too.
but the black tribal is really just the old school Les Paul.
It's the Les Paul.
That's why it's called the Encore.
It has mechanical strum switches,
edition, man.
and it has silicone pads. It's very much like a Guitar 3 Les Paul you would have bought in 2007.
Wait a second. That's the reason it's tribal, isn't it? Because it's old school.
Oh yeah, we're tribalists. Like, yeah, I'll never, get the new shit.
I'll never use Hall effect in my life.
No.
Fuck all this new shit.
All right,
Give
no,
me
that's
the old
good marketing, though.
There you go.
That's good marketing. That's good.
Great marketing.
And the pro is all the new shit.
Really,
play the clap sound effect, Jake. Play the clap sound effect in post right now.
We're gonna make it ourselves.
Oh, okay.
Really quick, I just want to point out, in the guitar that Lee has, those switches were made by Funky Customs. He's another modder in the community. He actually went to Kale and was like, "Hey, your box Navy switch is pretty good, but I want to make one that really two things. One has a stronger spring than the typical box Navy and a stronger click bar than the box Navy." So shout outs to him for getting those made because they're really good. So if you want them, he sells them on Etsy. They're called Signal Yellow. They're a yellow box switch. So shout outs to him.
Really nice.
Funky. They're very nice.
Cannot recommend them enough. I was using the regular Kale switches that I had for years and whatever JP sent me, and then I swapped over to the funky yellow switches there. I was like, oh, these are nice. The old ones are really nice too, don't get me wrong, but they just feel more crisp. They feel more responsive. They feel because like the second that the switch actuates, that's where you feel the click. But like
And
with
that
other
he-
ones, it might actuate before the click happens, just
Yeah,
barely.
he specifically made sure that wasn't an issue. Like that was like he told Kale, he
perfect.
was like they can't actuate, they have to actuate with the click. Like it's non-negotiable.
Yeah,
So
exact
he did
same.
a good job. Shout out
Exact
to
same
him.
point.
Go buy his stuff. All right, next question. What do we got?
We've pretty much covered all like the serious questions.
Yeah, we've got a few silly ones.
A lot of the questions were a lot of overlap, a lot of people asking the same question. So most of the questions that we got have been covered at this point. So now we have there's one more serious one. How many customization options will the guitar have on the app? That's the less serious
Oh
one.
wow.
Not like I don't think he's looking for a number. He's really just asking how customizable is it really on the app.
Sorry, what does that mean?
I guess like
mean,
settings that you have access to change.
Maybe
oh,
presets.
that's-
presets.
So like
Yeah.
That's how I
actuation
Well,
interpret
points
it.
and
That-
things like that.
That's kind of a little bit. How long's a piece of string?
Ah.
Okay. I see
Because
the vision.
it's an evolving thing, right? So there'll be a set, that it comes out the box with, what we ship with, but then over time there'll be, I'm sure there'll be tweaks, things that we learn from feedback and other things we want to tweak, and do firmware updates, and there'll be a whole bunch of other stuff that we can kind of do. And so it's a bit of one of those questions. I don't know, and it's going to be expandable.
Will evolve.
The world's
So-
first live service guitar controller. Let's go.
For $5.99 a month.
You gotta
Oh,
pay a
no.
subscription to own this bitch.
Dude,
I'm
You gotta pay it.
joking.
It gets
I'm
repoed.
joking. I'm
They just-
joking.
they
It's
take it away from you.
repoed. We're gonna send John
I'm
Crack to
joking.
your house to take that shit back, buddy.
That'd be the worst
That's
idea
for-
ever.
Yeah, show
Hey,
up to your
that's
door.
right.
You got my
Oh
money.
my
Just for
God.
GHTV right there. Just for GHTV.
Oh,
But Bobby,
yeah. If you get the
they're not allowed. They're not going for that. Bobby. They're not going for it.
They didn't like
sell
it.
the-
Abort.
sell the 6 fret one. That's the one that's a monthly subscription.
Yeah,
The 6
in,
fret
Oh.
crack
in the
guitar.
spirit of hero power and all that shit.
And you buy it with Hero Cash. That's
Comes
how
Yes,
you,
with some
uh,
cash. We got
That's
a
the
free
only
some
thing on the
free
Cracked website.
plays.
3 plays. Yeah. You get 3 plays. You get to play 3 songs, and your guitar has a physical lock on it, and it's like
Oh
you gotta
no.
pay, man. You gotta pay.
You need to shut up. Activision might hear this.
Oh,
They
no.
might. Don't give them any ideas.
Sony had the patent, right? Or was it Samsung? It's like you see a burger come up on the screen, you stand up,
Oh.
say McDonald's, and then it
Yeah.
goes away.
Oh yeah. The commercial.
It was
thing.
Sony or Samsung. It was one of them.
Oh, yeah,
Acknowledge you've
actually-
seen the commercial.
So
this
bad.
This is a cool segue, actually. So speaking of patents, right? Because we talked about that. A couple of people had asked, like, how come there's no, world tour button? And Lee, I think you can answer that because if you go on Google, there's an invention by Lee Guinchard,
Owned by
Oh.
Activision.
and Activision owns it.
Yeah. I think.
Don't want to go there.
Well, it's like anything. I mean, it's quite old now, and of course, you do a lot of things in and around this space where you sort of file patents for certain things. It's just best practice not to,
Mhm.
just to sort of just not go there.
Like poke the bear,
yes.
kind of. Like it's just
Well,
it's a respect thing,
again,
right?
you just
They
never
own
know.
it.
It's just not worth. It's just not worth. We're better than that, right?
Yeah.
You know, what I mean?
That's a good way to put
you know,
it.
if it was that important, then I'd go there and say, "Hey, can I license your hero power button or whatever the frick?" You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
but I don't think. I think it was. We just have to work around that. And again, as I said before, we've got a lot of flexibility with this guitar, so you'll be able to play around with where you can assign things. If you really want to press another button.
Nothing to worry about, folks. All right. Just a few more quick questions, then we'll get out of here. Do pre-orders get charged immediately or when it ships? The answer is immediately.
Yeah.
I think that's the system. Yeah.
I can answer that
It's
one
like,
for you.
Shopify. I think. Yeah.
Can the guitar replace my wife? I don't know what you mean by that. I think Lee doesn't know what you mean by that.
Well, remember
Unless-
the first question? He said,
My
Oh,
wife would
no,
argue,
no,
saying
no.
in the last few months it has, and that's not
That's a
funny
perfect
because she's
answer.
giving me shit over it.
She's gonna be next on the pod, all the dirty laundry, like
Yeah.
Lord Hero
This
scandal.
motherfucker.
You know,
Can I get a hell yeah?
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
No.
Oh,
Can I get a free
Till
guitar,
Mark.
please?
No.
Yeah.
I'm just reading questions here.
no to hell yeah, yes to free guitar.
This question is just Rock of the Dead? Question mark.
no, please
If
say
you're
no.
unfamiliar with
please
that-
say no.
That's this.
Please say
And
no. That
this,
game is that
this
is the
game
worst
exists
game I've
on
ever played.
PS3. It's not just the 360. It's on PS3, and the crack guitar has
Hey,
PS3
bro, look at
mode,
the frets.
So yeah, it would work. Oh shit! Oh
Look
my
at the
god!
frets,
Wait,
man.
wait.
They're square.
Oh my fucking god! They actually
They're
are.
square.
They're square.
Holy fuck.
This is.
Oh,
this
they
is
predict-
Oh
They predicted
no!
it.
They're going to take us down for that. Oh no!
Oh, shit,
no.
they are
Oh,
square.
no. Oh, Rock of the Dead predicted
also-
cracked.
This is completely brandless. There's no Xbox button. There's no PlayStation
Nope.
button. It's just a guitar-shaped controller.
A guitar.
with different buttons. It's who's to say what guitar this is? I don't know.
Hey, bro,
like-
is that
I do
AI
That was
like
our
art,
prototype.
bro?
Yeah.
That was the
Is-
original prototype. Yeah. So.
Is that AI art, man?
Have you
That's AI.
tried doing the horns around the neck like that?
That
Not great.
that dude's got to have a big ass hand to do
Yeah,
that.
no, that's
Yeah,
that's
like you'd have to like.
impossible.
Where the fuck is my guitar? Oh,
Go
here.
like that.
My God, fuck
Crazy.
that. Yeah, no
You
way
end up
in
going
hell.
like that or something.
How do you have this? Okay, so it's like
Left.
left hand.
No, your right hand. Your right hand.
Ugh.
Right hand. Other way. You're gripping it from the other side. There you go. Yep. That's it.
Okay.
It's
you can
not
do it.
easy.
You
I can do it. It ain't easy though.
I thought about doing it, but then I was like, why would I do that?
Yeah, man.
I looked
Okay,
over
yeah,
to my-
I'm the weird
I
one.
looked over to the Les Paul. I'm like, wait, why would I do that?
Why am I doing this again? Yeah, not. Yeah, I think that's about it for the questions we got. Thank you everybody who submitted a question.
Yes, thank you guys
for Lee to answer.
And
Yeah, seriously.
Hell
Cracked
yeah.
will be doing their own efforts as well, you know, to answer some questions. I know Jack has talked about that too. And Cracked will obviously be making videos to like kind of further explain like stuff on the guitar, but this was to
This
get
is
you,
about as
like
I was gonna say this is about as raw as it gets.
yeah, this is like
Know what I
yeah,
mean?
like just kind of directly ask, but yeah,
This is for the people that are, deep into it. This isn't for like the regular consumer that's like, I want to learn more about this. This is for people that already know a lot about this, who have been with us, or been playing guitar for the past 20 years. The people that are locked in. That's our community.
yeah,
But,
I mean,
the general
I'm pretty
audience,
I'm pretty
be better
happy
suited
with,
for a quick little
we got
1 minute
through-
video on Crack's stuff.
We got through basically all of these. The only straggler I see will just work on Wii or PS2. Just get the fucking adapter. Like it's the same thing as 360.
Yeah, we already
Same-
kind of
same
answered
shit.
it. Yeah, just
The
Yeah,
Wii or
yeah,
PS.
yeah.
Oh, are you talking about the
adapter
Wii or
type thing.
PS2 one? Yeah, just yeah.
Existing adapters. We
get an
have
adapter,
this sorted
yeah.
out. Crack doesn't need it sorted out. We already got it
There's
done. boy.
there's the Blue Indigo adapter. Shout outs to the guy who makes that Handy Sandy. Like they have that
It's true.
on
Yeah, I have
Etsy
one
as
of them.
well.
One of those over there as well.
Wait,
That's
that's
for
bro, the
PS2.
Blue Indigo. That's for PlayStation 2. Like
Yep, that's the
specifically. Like
PS2.
even
Yeah. It's for
Yeah.
PS2. Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like you could use your crack car on
Let me
PS2.
pull up
with
my little tray of adapters.
that.
Here's my Roll Limitless. Here's
Wait, JP, you're saying the Blue Indigo with the PlayStation
Black
this
Widow.
thing? Oh yeah, you know what? The V4 it has the auth, right?
and
So
then
it
here's
just
the
works
Blue
in there.
Indigo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
V4.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I completely forgot. I was
Yeah,
tweaking
there's-
for a second.
Yeah,
so I
that's a
was like,
V4, so it works with auth.
I need
Yeah.
a V4, bro. I need a V4.
I have a spare. I'll send it to you.
What?
I have two.
Thanks, man.
He shipped me one. I was like, I already bought one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Too bad. Keep it. Adapters are cool. Shout outs to all of the modders in the community who be like, I never went that route, but like, a lot of people have made adapters. And like,
It's incredibly important to have though all these adapters.
yeah,
if
because you
wanna
don't
make your guitar-
you're
universal.
not limited. Obviously now you can buy a crack guitar, but you weren't limited to like, oh, I have to buy a pre-mod in order to do this stuff. It's like, no, you can just buy a shitty Wii guitar off of eBay for like $15 or go find one
Are
at a
you
thrift
cutting
store.
out hella, or am I
Buy-
going
He's
insane?
been cutting out hella.
I am
assuming
going
his audio's gonna
insane.
be fine. I'm
I-
assuming that's a
I hope
Discord
so.
issue.
Oh, it's probably just Discord, yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's probably just Discord.
And if it's not,
I thought
we're
he
fucked.
kept censoring himself the whole episode.
Like, JP's got a lot to say.
No, it's probably just the crisp noise suppression. It's probably that.
Yeah,
So it's Discord.
I'm gonna say that the
I think
audience
that
didn't
it's
hear it.
I think it's really cool that we're in a position that Cracked is willing to work with people who are looking to mod, like looking to potentially make their own adjustments to the guitars, potentially use adapters with the guitars, like more more support than we've ever seen from guitars being manufactured. And I think the biggest point to that is that Lee is here with us.
Mhm.
He's listening. He just answered questions for, we're closing in on what, a little over an hour and a half.
Oh, we're closing on 2
Oh,
hours,
we're closing
pal.
on 2.
Oh
dog.
wow! Oh.
Yeah.
Shit!
Yeah,
We
we're
But
got
you
a
get
lot
the
close,
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, this man is the CEO of the company and doing all this stuff and all this work, and he's still taking this much time out to sit down with us and bullshit yap about all these different things. And yeah, that's really kudos right there.
Absolutely,
It's
yeah.
nice to see that we have people
Genuinely.
who care in these positions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
Oh,
I mean,
can we ask the
I
last
don't wanna-
question?
What's the last
I want to
question?
ask the last question, the very final one.
Oh, I think
Will
I know
there
what
be
this is.
Will there be a sticker sheet?
Oh,
Yeah.
What's that mean?
What?
What's that
What does
mean?
that mean?
what is this?
Don't be
What
so
is
coy.
this?
Oh man!
It's a secret. You won't know until you
Man,
get
you
it.
have to wait and see.
You want to see
All right.
stickers? Ooh, that's like what the fuck is it?
I do.
Well, you're getting the pin.
Give me those
getting the pin.
stars. I want the stars.
Yeah, dude. We didn't know about the pre-order bonuses before they went live. I was like, oh, we get to get the little pin or in a cool
Yeah.
guitar
Yeah.
strap.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
Well, you guys said that in sync. Holy crap.
Yeah, you
All
know.
I can picture-
Sometimes you finish each other's.
Maybe it's
Sandwiches.
a discussion. Yeah. If anyone's got any good art, let me know, and we'll see if we can get them on some.
Oh, dude, that's actually
Okay.
such a dope idea.
Ooh,
Hold up.
hold on.
yeah.
Yo,
That's
that is
hold
a
on.
good
I
idea.
have so many friends that I could.
Submit
Submit
some
your art in the
art
comments.
Yes.
that's usable.
Submit it where?
And not stolen from
We're
anybody.
being so genuine. This is new, but this isn't a pre-planned bit. I mean, seriously, if
not
Crack wants to
AI.
do a submission type
Yeah.
of thing, that isn't AI.
Yeah.
Genuinely, like, I think that'd be a really cool idea to have
That would be
fan-made
sick.
art for stickers. That'd be a really cool
That'd be
idea.
super cool.
I mean, with how
Mm.
community focused all this is in the first place, sourcing art from the community and getting artists who actually care to be a part of it would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Be a part of Guitar Hero history, right?
Excuse
And,
me?
Yeah.
What
Guitar
Guitar
Hero?
Hero? War
Oh, sorry.
Hero?
Sorry.
War Hero?
Talking about Cracked.
AI
Sorry.
hero.
Cracked Hero.
AI,
AI
Guitar Hero
Hero.
Mobile.
Yeah,
now we're
be a
full
part of it.
circle.
Yeah, we're full
I'm excited to
circle.
play that game with my cracked guitar when I get it.
Me too. It'll work. It'll work everywhere,
It'll
boys.
work.
Just want to say thanks again to Lee for coming on the podcast
thank you,
once
Lee.
again. You're always welcome here. If you ever want to talk to the community directly, I'm pretty sure people would not mind. You're very fun to listen to. I like hearing your voice. You have a nice voice.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
Good
it's the
lord.
accent. It's the accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the accent. I like when
Helps
you
a
say
lot.
yarg.
Yeah, yarg
Yarg.
and guitar.
It's said in the Cornish accent. Yarg.
Yarg.
Yorg.
Anyways, we got to get out of here. Thank you very much, Lee, once again. Appreciate you. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.